I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
Good morning, everyone. Coming live from DraftKings at Casino Queen. My name is David Sharp, and I'm here with my friend Greg Damon. Good morning, Greg.
How you doing, David? Beautiful day outside today. Can't get any better than this, and sitting right outside the casino.
Unbelievable. We are sitting right outside a sportsbook. I can't wait. It is week 0 for college football. Man, are you ready?
You know what? I started off with high school football last night, so yes, I'm ready. You know, I'm a huge football guy. My kids play football, so I'm ready to rock and roll.
Are you coaching?
Of course I'm coaching.
Yeah, I like it.
Coach the line. I mean, come on. That's where the meat and potatoes are right there.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely.
I'm one of those old school coaches, though. You know, I'm not the new namby-pamby coach. I'm the guy who's still yelling and screaming. So
Namby-pamby.
That's right.
I like it. We gotta be clean as we can be right here. We got a lot to talk about today. We have a great show planned. We're gonna talk a little golf. We're going to talk some college football. We're going to talk some pro football, a little preseason, maybe a little fantasy if we get to it. But, man, let's get started. Let's talk a little St. Louis Cardinals baseball, man. Yeah. What about Albert? I want to talk about Albert. What's going on?
I mean, he's having the best year of his life, it seems like.
Unreal.
You know. Here he is. But, you know, also look at it. He's not an everyday player. Okay, so that's really going to help him, especially at his age. But, you know, he's having fun. That's the biggest thing. I mean, you look at him, he's out there smiling and laughing and, you know, he's having fun. It's like there's absolutely no pressure what he has. You know, when he was with the Cardinals before, arguably the best hitter in baseball.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's also like Mark McGwire said, the pressure that he faced every time that he came to the plate because somebody's looking for him to get a hit. You know, all the 45,000, 50,000 people are looking for him to get a hit every time he's to the plate. His teammates are looking for him to get a hit or a home run or whatever it needs to be able to put people on the base or score runs.
But now, without that pressure, he's doing it.
Absolutely. That's what I mean. He's having fun.
Yeah.
It's the best time of his life. And, you know, I did hear that he said that he's going to retire no matter what after this year, whether he hits 700 home runs or not. But, boy, I tell you what.
He's going to leave $699 on the table?
I don't know. I'd say, hey, I'm going to sign with the Cardinals until, you know, I mean, 700, and then I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, do you really believe he's going to leave $698, $699 on the table?
I don't know, man. I look at this. So Edmonton Oilers, Glenn Anderson played for the Edmonton Oilers for many, many years. He's stuck on 499 goals and retired.
Wow.
So I don't know. You know, I mean, if he's got his mind made up and that's what it is, and go from there.
Do you think something like that is a personal thing, or is it more for the fans, or both, or either or?
I definitely think it's got to be personal, first of all. I mean, come on, what a milestone, what a feather in your cap to go down as one of the greatest players in baseball history.
Yeah,
hitting 700 home runs. What is six? I think 6 people have done it. Five people,
yeah.
6 people have done it. So, you know, I mean, you're arguably going to be. I mean, he's a legend here in St. Louis, but arguably he's going to be a legend in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you been to a game this year?
I have. Actually, I'm going Sunday. My son's he's actually playing the national anthem Sunday.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That is fantastic.
He'll be that big bass sound with the tuba. So.
Now, do you get to go on the field a little bit?
No, I don't get to go on the field, but you know, I'll be standing right over there yelling and screaming and throwing stuff at him.
I got lucky enough. My daughter, I believe she was like 8 years old, and we did the kids' day, and they took us on the field in the dugout and through the whole facility. It is pretty neat. Well, if you've never been on a major league field,
I will tell you this. So this has been my oldest son. This would have been when he was about 13, so probably 6-7 years ago. The Cardinals used to do where you could come, bring your tents, and you could stay on the field overnight. And they play the Cardinal away game on the big video board. They take you through the dugout. They've got all sorts of activities planned, all sorts of food and stuff like that. And it was really cool. We stayed there, and then you had to get up at like 6 a.m. and leave. But, you know, it was really fun.
All right. 2 new additions, trade deadline. Man, they seem to be working out. I don't know about last night, but other than last night, things are going unbelievable for the Cardinals. Mo seems to know what he's doing, even though we question him every single year.
Every day. What are you talking about?
That's true. But for the most part, especially around the trade deadline, everything he does gets questioned, and he seems to work out.
I mean, the Cardinals, obviously, everybody's excited about thinking about Juan Soto. Maybe the Cardinals getting Juan Soto, 2 years control on him.
Yeah.
To me, I thought it was way too much what supposedly they were offering for Juan Soto. I mean, do you really mortgage your future for 2 years to win a championship? Not sure if you do that or not. Does Nolan Arenado walk after 2 years because you have nothing depleted, nothing coming up, especially if Soto leaves? So the Cardinals to me are like any are not like any other baseball team because the Cardinals run it as a business.
Yeah.
It is always a foundation of business when it comes to it. And they don't do any like, yeah, let's just do it. They're very methodical about what they do, about what they can control, what kind of team control they have, what kind of cost they have, what kind of cost that it's going to cost them for their players that they're going to acquire. So Juan Soto would have been fabulous to have here. I think it'd be amazing to have him. But there again, I don't know if you mortgage your future for that.
Let's talk a little bit about Goldschmidt, man. I think the pressure of him being the man is off with Arenado here, and I think that's part of the reason why he is flourishing the way he is, whereas his focus is not only on him, where he can relax and do his thing.
Put the other factor in there, the Pujols factor.
Yeah,
because there's nobody looking at Goldschmidt going, come on, man, you got to do it. You got to do it. Because everybody's eyes is on Albert Pujols. So take some pressure off of Paul Goldschmidt. But tell me about MVP candidate. Not only that, how about in the race for Triple Crown? Haven't had a Triple Crown for many, many years. In fact, I think Joe Medwick from the Cardinals, when he played for the Cardinals, actually won it.
Yeah, I want to tell you from a gambling aspect, Goldschmidt was like over 100-1 at the beginning of the season to be MVP. Now he's minus 240. You have to lay $240 to win 100 now. And he was, before the season started, it was 80 to 100-1. I mean, you want to talk about.
That's why I'm not a smart betting guy.
Well, I'm going to tell you, whoever decided to put that $5, $10, $15, $100, whatever, because they're a local fan or thought he, just to have some action for the season, they're looking at a nice ticket at the end of the year.
I love betting sportsbook, David. We've talked about this before, but I am definitely a sportsbook's best customer because, I bet with my heart. I don't bet. We had this conversation, before on the show. I am not a guy who's going to look at the odds and going, yeah, this is the one I want. Like I would never bet on the Cub. I just wouldn't do it.
Right.
I bet with my heart, and unfortunately, it doesn't work out to me.
No, that's okay. And we talk about it all the time is we try to find value, right?
Sure.
But it doesn't really matter as long as the whole point is if you're doing it for entertainment. And like I'm a homer too, man. I bet the Cardinals every year to win the World Series. I bet the Blues to win, except the year they won. It might have been the only year in the last 15, 20 years that I haven't had a bet on them to win this, right? And they were like 80 to 1 or at some point, I don't know, some ridiculous number when they were last place. And I'll give you a little story. As my buddy, one of my best friends in Vegas, says, "You want $20 on win the conference and win the championship?" And I said, "I'm not wasting $40. They're in last place, right? I'm not doing it." Of course, he puts 100 on each, 80 to 1 to win it all, 40 to 1 to win the conference, and he cashes a nice ticket, and we go to Vegas together, and he's cashing all this money, and I'm just want to throw up.
Yeah, so my friend, we had a bachelor party. Went out to Vegas, and this was the year the Rams won the Super Bowl. So this is before football season started. The Rams were 200 to 1.
Yeah,
and he laid $50 on the Rams to win. So of course everybody forgets about it, right? Nobody remembers him laying this bet down before football season. So here we are at a Super Bowl party, and the Rams are in a Super Bowl, and we're all just yucking it up, and he's over there just like sweating. I mean, he just got sweat just rolling off him, and we're like, what's
right?
He goes, "Don't you remember that bet I laid?" And it's like, so it was actually double cool for him to see.
What's really cool that year, he could have hedged, right? I mean, if you would have thought about it, but he would have, at that point in time, this is what's great about the St. Louis area having sportsbook where you can come down right here at DraftKings and make your bet. Back then, you couldn't do it.
Nope.
you had to go back to Vegas if he was to hedge his bet, and I don't know if it would have been worth it financially to even pay the amount.
We're not smart enough to know what hedge is, other than trimming it with a trimmer.
Okay,
you know what I mean.
Well, hedges just make sure that you cash something.
Again, we're the sports book's favorite people.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and I'm sure they appreciate it very much. Let's talk a little basketball.
Okay.
Let's talk a little Kevin Durant. You know, I saw a little piece that Charles Barkley did.
Greatest basketball now.
I mean, and I got a chance to meet him and hang out with him one night many years ago, and probably one of the funniest persons I've ever had a chance to meet in my life. And what he said in this article, it's quoted as Kevin Durant is Mr. Miserable, and he's never going to be happy no matter what. And that his 2 championships riding the coattails at Golden State, and you can put him anywhere and give him whatever he wants, and he's not going to be happy no matter what. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I'll preface this by, Kevin Durant is my oldest son's favorite player, has been since he's been a little kid. So we follow the Kevin Durant story together, where he came from Seattle to Oklahoma City to, Golden State and now with the Nets. And so I think Kevin Durant is arguably one of the greatest players in NBA history.
Yeah.
He is a game changer. When he is on the court, he is definitely a game changer. He is one of the people that you expect to just take control of a game. Okay. Yeah. He's a phenomenal basketball player. As far as him not being happy, it's funny. I asked my son the same thing. It's like, look, you're playing with Steph Curry. And I don't think that he rode the coattails of the Golden State Warriors. He added value to that.
Yeah,
team.
I agree with that.
But, here you are with Golden State Warriors, a perennial NBA championship team every year. Steph Curry, obviously one of the best basketball players around. You're not happy. You go to the Nets with Kyrie Irving. Again, here you are starting to build a team, a championship team. Then COVID came. COVID just changed the sport, just changed the sporting world together.
Yeah, for sure.
But are you ever happy? I don't know. The problem is with professional athletes today, and I'm going to go on a rant here, David. I'm sorry.
Do your thing.
And I'm going to probably upset some people. But, the problem with professional athletes today is they make so much money that you can't take them out of the lineup. A coach makes a quarter of what the player takes. So for the owner, he's going to say, you're going to play that player no matter what. Okay?
For sure.
How can you have a player dictate to you, I want to be traded, I want to go to this team, I'm not going to play for you? How can you do that? That, isn't sports supposed to be a team game? Isn't that the way it's supposed to go? Doesn't it take, in the NBA, take 5 players on the court? If you got a guy that's unhappy or disgruntled, does he give you maximum performance every time he's out there out there on the court?
So what you're saying is the player runs the team.
Well, of course it does.
Yeah.
Because if you're the owner, you want all those fans in your building, right? Because that's how you're going to make money. That's how you're going to pay for your team. That's how you're going to pay for everything else. That's how you're going to pocket money. You want those players on the court, on the ice, on the field, right? Because they're the premier players. That's who buys their merchandise. That's the people in the stands. That's the ones yelling and screaming. So you bench that player because of bad behavior or whatever. Now all of a sudden, you don't have the fans coming. They're not spending the money. They're upset with you because you're not playing the player.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, when you have players controlling what has to happen, I mean, how does a coach do what he's supposed to do? That's
we're talking the NBA, and my whole thing goes back to
just in general, though.
If you remember Latrell Sprewell, he choked his coach during a practice. Okay, to the point where medical personnel had to come. All right, and yet he still survived in the NBA, and still played a long career after that happened.
I don't even know how that's possible.
I don't know how that's possible. I don't know how you just don't go, I'm sorry, you're banned and you can't play anymore. I don't care how great of a player you are. So that just goes to show you who runs the team.
Yeah. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I can't wait for your responses to these.
Here we go.
I know. We're going to talk a little Green Bay Packers, which I give you such a hard time every time you come on. But I actually received an email asking some questions about his Green Bay Packers, and you are the perfect guy to answer these questions. So we're gonna.
Is this rapid fire? Is this speed round?
Not. We don't have to hurry it up. So a little bit of thoughts on running backs Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon at the same time in the backfield this year. Your thoughts on how they're going to be utilized?
I think they're going to be almost a 50-50 split this year. Aaron Jones has just been phenomenal the past several years. Got a big contract 2 years ago. AJ Dillon coming out of college, he was just a power back. Just run over you. His nickname's Quadzilla. The guy's, the guy's legs are like as big as my body. But they're two completely different running backs. This is where they're going to spearhead the attack because, Aaron Jones is one of those shifty guys, can get out there, can make moves. He's going to dance around you. He's going to just get the open seam and he's going to take off. Whereas A.J. Dillon's just going to go, I'm coming over top you. I'm just going to run right over top you. I'm going to knock you down. And I'm going to keep going. And you can't tackle me. So that's how it's going to happen. I mean, I think it's going to be a 50-50 split. A.J. Dillon has been every year up his snap count, up his carry count. So I think it's going to be a 50-50 split. It's a great – if you're a coach, you couldn't ask to have a better duo of running backs.
Yeah. Sounds good. That sounds like a plan. That sounds like
it doesn't matter because, if you're 3rd and 2, you're going to give it to A.J. Dillon. Yeah. He's just going to go smashing right up to the middle and get you the first down. Right.
Pretty tough to stop. All right. Injury updates on guys like Jenkins, Bakhtiari, and Tanyan. The question is, will they be ready to play in the regular season? And we'll get to the next question after you answer that.
So, it's great to see them guys off the PUP list or the physical unable to perform list.
Yep.
They're not going to have to. So if you're on the PUP list at the start of the season, you have to sit out mandatory 4 games.
Okay.
So they're off the PUP list. They are able to jump in. If they're able to go, they'll start week 1. But if they're not, they will hold them back. Now, you got to think about it. That David Bakhtiari, before he got injured, best left tackle in the NFL. Okay? There's no question about it. Anybody would say it from any team. Best left tackle. Gets injured. He's been out, I think, 18 months now with this knee injury. He's had several surgeries on it. Said he's feeling much better and ready to go. Are you going to take this franchise cornerstone NFL lineman and put him in a position to where he may re-injure himself or not feel comfortable protecting Aaron Rodgers, or I should say any quarterback for that matter? Yeah. So you're not going to do that. Toyin, he was a great pass catcher before he got injured. He has been doing some more practicing. He may be ready. I'm not sure if he's going to be ready week 1, but he'll be
next question.
He'll be ready. He'll be ready to go, very soon. I think that Green Bay is going to have just an unbelievable defense this year. So,
all right, let's see what we got. The last question is, how have rookie first rounders looked? Quay Walker and D. Wyatt. Will they make immediate impacts from the start of the season?
I was really hopeful when they drafted Wyatt, defensive lineman, out of Georgia. I thought, he's just going to come in. He's going to be day one. He's going to start. He was a monster in college, but I will tell you with the Jaron Reed and the other defensive linemen that the Packers have really jumped up their game. I don't think Wyatt's going to start. I think Wyatt will get, several snaps, but he is further down the depth chart than some of the other guys on the team now. As far as Quay Walker, I can't say that was one of my favorite picks.
All right.
But again, I don't get paid to draft a team, so. But he has come out. He's played really well in practice. He's played really well against the joint practices with the Saints. He was really the only starter on defense that played with the Kansas City Chiefs most of the game. He has shown that he has got a ton of range of motion. He is going to help out Devondre Campbell in that middle linebacker spot where they're going to be able to cover a lot of ground, not only stuffing the run, but being able to get back in pass protection. He has shown that he has got a nose for the ball, which is great. They really need that's one of the Achilles heels of the Packers over the years is not very good inside middle linebackers.
Anybody out of camp surprising you?
Romeo Dobbs, man.
Yeah.
Romeo Dobbs, unbelievable 4th-round draft pick. They drafted Christian Watson, 2nd round. That was supposed to be the guy out of and unbelievable qualities coming out of college with his height, his speed, his route running. Romeo Dobbs, a little smaller, but always had perfect route running. But Romeo Dobbs is coming in and has just taken over the camp, and he has taken over the wide receiver spot. I think you're going to see Romeo Dobbs starting over Christian Watson at least to start the season. Christian Watson was also injured earlier in the year, had a little knee surgery. But Romeo Dobbs has been the darling. I mean, he has broken away from Jair Alexander. The thing about Dobbs is he always seems to find an opening, either whether it's past the defenders, cutting next to the defenders, but he always seems to find an opening to be able to get the ball. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to love him.
Well, it sounds like they're ready, right?
I think so.
They're one of the favorites in the NFC.
Well,
And I don't think they're going to – I mean, last year, remember the first game against the Saints?
I do.
I mean, you're not going to see that this year. And if you do, I once again, you don't have to worry about it.
My only thing is, and this goes for a lot of teams, that, you don't play your starters in the preseason. And I'm not saying they got to play the whole game, but here's Aaron Rodgers, okay, hasn't taken a snap in a so-called game since the NFC Championship game, right? Is that a good thing? I understand. Do you take a chance on somebody getting injured, or do you start them off knowing they haven't thrown a pass or given a handoff in a regular game, just in practices and joint practices?
Yeah. I want to go to Seattle just because I want your thoughts. Drew Lock goes there to be a starting quarterback, and now he seems to be fighting for the starting job. I didn't even know Geno Smith still was playing. I didn't even know he was still in the NFL, and all of a sudden he might be the starter in Seattle.
Well, he was just named the starter today.
Was he really?
He was just named the starter today.
I didn't wake up early. I didn't see it. Which is amazing.
I think I loved Drew Lock when he was at Mizzou. I thought he did a fantastic thing. He's been one of Mizzou's best quarterbacks. Guy could just he can just throw the ball. I thought that in the spot starts that he had in Denver, he did a really good job. I really thought when he went to Seattle, he was going to be the guy. I can't believe that he did not beat out Geno Smith. Now, Drew Lock did have COVID and was out of practice for at least a week or more. So you may see a switch come second week.
Yeah, I was really surprised, like when I saw that they were even fighting for the starting job, and he's named the starter. Wow. So COVID might have taken Drew Lock out, but I mean, I don't see him being very good anyway. So
who, Geno Smith or Seattle?
All of it.
I think Seattle will be a middle of the pack team.
It's a tough division.
It's a way tough division.
I mean, in the NFC, and especially when we're talking about gambling, I mean, just in general, I mean, the powerhouse of the Rams and the Cardinals, the Niners too.
Well, you got to throw the Niners in there. I was
going to say the Niners too. I mean, now you got Seattle. I mean, I don't know how they're going to. They're over under for wins for the season is 5.5. Seattle's is. I don't see him getting there. I don't see him getting the 6 wins. But
I think they'll go. I think they'll go pretty close. I think they'll go probably 8-8.
Yeah,
I do.
8-9,
somewhere around there.
8-9. Well, 17 game season.
17.
Right?
Yes,
yeah.
Sorry.
So 8-9. So 5.5. I mean, if you think they can get those extra, 2 to 3 wins, then the over looks good. I don't know. I thought it was kind of low. You're getting plus money on it too. Over 5.5 wins. So that's why I wanted to talk about Seattle.
Who's the favorite for the NFC in the championship game?
Tampa Bay. Yeah. They are plus 750. So it 7.5 to 1. So $7.50 win for every $1 bet. And then you're jumping up. The Rams I think are 12, either 10 to 1 or 12.
Yeah, I'd say definitely you're looking at Tampa Bay, the Rams. You got the Packers in there.
Yeah, the Packers are right there with the Rams.
I mean, it's going to be.
But you look at the NFC. There's not a lot of teams. I mean, we can even talk a little Cowboys here in a second.
Oh, I'm just going to blast the Cowboys.
Yeah,
I mean, one of my favorite things.
Yeah, that's what I want to talk a little Cowboys. We have a lot. This is the great thing about St. Louis is when the Rams left, a lot of people migrated automatically to Kansas City,
Mhm.
right? And that's a great run, and that's easy to do. Some to the Bears, right? And some to Green Bay. But your Dallas fans were already Dallas fans, right?
And still
I mean,
hated from the days of the St. Louis
eh,
football Cardinals.
Yes. So, okay, let's talk a little Dallas Cowboy football. You know, I have some really good friends of mine that are diehards, right? And we've had actually Gary Henson on the show. He's like, we have a video, sound clip that says, on the 8th day, God created the Dallas Cowboys. That's how big the Dallas Cowboys. They are 20-1 to win the championship. They got some O-line problems.
They got a lot of problems, period.
Yeah.
Number one with the ownership.
Yeah, that we can go there too, but their injuries, they're already having problems with injuries. I mean, every team goes through injuries, but they're already having problems with injuries, especially on the O-line. So we'll see. 20-1 is from a gambling perspective. I'm not putting up my money at 20-1. I don't think it's high enough.
No.
But there's not a lot of teams in the NFC. Look at that division. I mean, they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, they should. I mean,
you don't think Philadelphia is going to knock them out?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean,
I'd put my money on Philadelphia before I'd put it on
yeah. I mean,
Dallas.
Philly's probably favored, but I don't think the Cowboys just. Man, what happened?
Well,
what happened to that?
What
happened? Now
here's
you can't blame Mike McCarthy. Is not one of my favorite coaches. I know you know him quite well from the Packers, and as far as I'm concerned, I don't think the Cowboys did themselves any favors hiring him.
No, I don't think so, and I think he'll be gone middle of this year or definitely at the end of the year.
You think mid-season?
I do. Because Jerry Jones isn't going to stand for it, and here it also comes. I mean, the unfortunate thing about coaches, okay, coaches are always the one to get axed because who runs a team? The high-paid players,
right?
You're not going to get rid of your high-paid player because he's the money man. He's going to draw the fans in, so that's why they change coaches. Okay, Jerry's not going to allow that. He thinks putting a new coach in, that's what's going to get his team better and better. It's not that. He needs to he needs to revamp his personnel. So personally, this is my.
Wait a second. When you say Jerry needs to revamp his personnel,
yes,
by removing himself.
Well, that would be the smartest thing to. Actually, he can own the team, but he needs to stay out of his football operation.
Well, we've been saying that for years.
I understand.
You and I've been saying that for years.
I understand that. Yeah. He's also put the death stake in the St. Louis Rams too. So
yes.
But regardless of that, I think he really needs to update the personnel on the Dallas Cowboys. I am not a Dallas Cowboy fan at all. I'll preface it by saying that. I was on a business trip in Dallas. I went to Jerry's World. I walked in the team store. I got about 4 feet in. I thought I was going to throw up, and I had to leave. I couldn't do it. I couldn't go in any farther. So, but I look at it this way. So you look at all the history the Dallas Cowboys have had. The good quarterbacks they've had, the good running backs they've had. I don't feel. Again, this is my opinion. I have no basis on this. It's just me watching football because I'm just a geek like that. I don't think Dak Prescott is an elite quarterback.
Wow.
I think Dak Prescott makes bad decisions.
Okay.
I don't think that he is accurate enough on his throws. So I think that's where you should start. Ezekiel Elliott, obviously he did really well, but he's aging. He's not the running back that he used to be.
That is absolutely correct.
So tell me who their wide receivers are.
Lamb. They got one.
Okay.
I mean, Gallup.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking
Gallup,
about.
yeah, he's hurt.
So, he needs to update his personnel. If you want to get back into that win mode, you need to update your personnel.
Yeah.
Again, that's just my opinion. No fact basis.
No, I like your
opinion. My hatred for the Dallas Cowboys.
There's no way I would have got that out of what we were talking about.
But my hatred goes back, to the St. Louis football Cardinals.
And you're old, so that's.
Thank you. I appreciate you mentioning that.
I'm right with you. Well, we're about the same age, so pretty close. I don't know about that. Hey, love to get everybody's input. You can contact us at onair@thewinningticket.com. Please send us anything you'd like us to talk about in the future. Any questions you have for Greg or I. Greg, you're going to hang with us.
No hatred mail, though.
No hatred mail. Please, no hatred mail. Greg, anybody's got any questions for you, let them know how to get a hold of you.
Real easy to do. It's KMOXAutoGuy@gmail.com.
All right. Any information on the sports book? We got Mike Hasty coming on with us in about 10 minutes. He's a sports book manager here, and we're going to talk sports, but before we're going to ask him a little bit about, they got some neat things going on here, ways of putting your bets together before you even walk in the door. And we're going to talk about how you can listen with your own earbuds to any game that's going on while you're in there. You don't have to listen to the main feed. So if you bet a game and you want to watch that game and listen to it, yeah, you can just hook up your
Fantastic.
earbuds. Yeah, I mean, they got all kinds of neat things and promos going in the sportsbook. So we're going to, in a little about 10 minutes, we're going to have sportsbook manager Mike Hasty joining us. A little bit after that, we got our golf expert, and we've had him on before. His name's Mike Whistler. We're going to talk some gambling on golf, and when I mean this guy's good, I mean this guy's good. He's gonna blow your mind. He's
Okay.
If you we've had him on before many months ago, and right after he came on, he scored for like 30 grand. It's like this guy knows how to bet. We're gonna learn how to bet golf.
Okay. Well, I'm never going to bet on myself because I like playing in the other people's fairways because it's too easy to play in mine.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I am not. I love playing golf. I'm not good at it.
I'm really good at driving the cart and drinking. That's what I'm really good at.
That's the best part. I don't know about driving in the cart and drinking, but I mean, somewhere in there in the middle, both are fun, right?
That's right.
You know, we've never golfed together.
No.
Yeah, we might have to do that
Okay.
real soon.
Let's have a winning ticket golf tournament.
But I can guarantee you nobody that I ever have met in my life bets when they go out and golf.
I do
Oh,
want the foursome that I'm in.
yeah?
Sure.
Small little wager per hole.
Yeah. And, the more alcohol there is, the larger the wager gets.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, not like Michael Jordan wagering.
No, that's.
But
I don't think anybody wagers like Michael Jordan. No, he likes to get his gamble on, right?
That's right.
Yeah. Charles likes to get his gamble on, right? I like to get my gamble
we
on.
can get those guys on here.
Yeah. Well, I'll reach out.
Okay. Sounds good.
Once again, if you want to get a hold of us, just email us at onair@thewinningticket.com. We have recently been sponsored by DraftKings at Casino Queen. I got some exciting news, Greg,
Okay.
that I wanted to bring. We have signed on. We are back on air every Friday from 6 to 7, right after Bernie Miklasz. The winning ticket is now on 590 The Fan. Every Friday from
Boom.
6 to 7, we are back on the air. I'm very excited about bringing this show to 590 The Fan. And I'm just real excited. We're starting on September 9th. So
That is fantastic news, David.
yeah, really excited. So we can give you a preview before Saturday, and we can talk about what's going to happen here on Saturday, which will be here every Saturday from 9 to 11 with a live stream on YouTube right here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. And, man, it's starting, man. It is week 0, college football. It is starting, man. I'm telling you, in about 10, 15 minutes, we're going to get people starting to carry in. It's 11 o'clock. We got your first college football game of the year. Well, I wouldn't say of the year, but is it of the year? When was the national championship? Can't be actually of the year. I got to get technical here.
That's right. It's the first of the season.
First of the season.
There you go.
Week 0. We have 12 games, 11 games today going on. And later on in the show, we're going to close the show with our resident handicapper, analyst, Clemson John. Clemson is on a cruise, an Alaskan cruise. Couldn't join us live today or by video, so I had a chance to sit down with him 2 days ago, and he analyzed every single game for your wagering pleasure. And if you haven't met my man Clemson John, it'll be a gift to all of you if you have not heard this guy.
It's a gift.
He's a gift. It's
a good wake me up on a Saturday morning.
I'm going to tell you what, he brings it. He brings it. His analysis is spot on. Yeah, I don't know what to say. You're going to have to experience him for yourself. But he is a regular on our show and gives out great insight. And I'm really looking forward to for you guys to see and hear his picks. For week 0. Next week, it all floods, right? The gates are wide open.
Absolutely.
Here we go. What are you looking forward to mostly about week 1? Not week 0. Maybe if you have anything today, but next week, college football. What are you looking forward to?
Well, I am more of an NFL guy than I am a college guy.
Okay.
I'm very spot college guy, and again, I'm a homer
Okay.
when it comes
I like it.
to college football. So,
Mizzou or Illinois?
well, Mizzou, but we also follow University of Iowa, couple other colleges that we kind of touch on, and we'll watch their games. I'm just glad it's back. I mean, it's really what the colleges are about. I mean, so I do some stuff with Missouri Baptist University as well, right here in St. Louis. So, and I mean, even for a small school like that, NEI school, I mean, football brings so much to the program. It brings so much to the program, and I'm not talking about just in dollars for the school, but I'm talking about kids that want to go to that school. It's a big recruitment, not necessarily for football players, but for other kids that want to come to a school, or you're trying to entice them to come to your school. Let's face it, colleges are a business. That's what it is.
For sure.
You have to show that attractive package for them to come and lay out a gazillion dollars to go to your school. So football is such a huge portion, or I shouldn't say portion, huge accomplishment for any school that does that. And if you're a successful football team, that even makes it much better. So it's opening weekend in college football. It doesn't matter what division it is, whether it's Division I, Division II, Division III, NEIA, they're all opening this weekend.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, cut me off. That's all right.
Sorry, it's David's show. I'm just here.
No.
I'm going to have to bring the head coach of Missouri Baptist here.
Yeah.
Because he has got a great story about football. Coach B is an amazing guy, but he says that he is going to write a book, and it's called about the crap that Nick Saban never had to do.
Oh.
And when they started the football program there, they didn't even have a locker room. They had to use CBC's field. They didn't have a home field.
Wow.
So they had these guys dressing behind a curtain. Their football equipment was left outside because there was no building for it. So we'll have to have him on and talk about that.
That sounds great. You can get him down here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to sit down with Mike Hasty, the sportsbook manager here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. Hey, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Win Ticket. We are live here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. My name is David Scharf. My co-host today is Greg Damon, and we are sitting here with Mike Hasty. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, Mike is the sportsbook manager here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. Mike, man, I tell you what, this place is about to get rolling here with college football, especially week 0. Are you guys ready?
Oh, absolutely. Football season is a big time for us, and we're just excited to get it started.
All right. Before we get into just let's talk some lines and sports, I want to talk about a few things that people can do while they're waiting in line. If they are going to do their own bets with the kiosk or standing in line, let's talk a little bit about Build a Bet. Could you explain that?
Sure. We have business cards throughout the sports book with a QR code, and all they do is scan that with their phone, and it takes you to a link where you can create your bets, and it saves a QR code or a bet ID that you can go to the kiosk or the ticket window, and it will populate the bets that you created. And all you have to do is just pay your money, and we'll print your ticket, and you can be on your way.
Yeah, and not only that is you can do multiple bets on it.
That's
right?
correct. It basically saves a picture, a screenshot of the QR code. You can do multiple bets, and you can just scroll right through it on the kiosk or the ticket window, and get on your way.
Yeah. Any other information that anybody would need for the sportsbook to contact you guys? We're just going to go to DraftKings at CasinoQueen.com. Is that correct?
Right. That has our sportsbook restaurant menu, our hours of operation, has all the lines for the games of that day, and anything you need is on that website.
All right. As we head into football season, it's going to be packed in here. We open at 8 a.m. Is that correct?
Right.
Is that every day, 7 days a week?
No, so Monday through Friday we open at 9, and on the weekends we open at 8.
All right. Hey, Greg, let's get in a little NFL talk, and we're going to talk a little gambling too with Mike and see who he likes. Let's start with Kansas City. They are 10-1 to win the Super Bowl. They are not favored. They let go of a few major pieces this year, right? So, Mike, let's get your thoughts on Kansas City and where they're standing with their run.
Sure. Currently, the over/under for win totals for Kansas City is at 10.5. I currently feel like that's an under bet. I mean, when you just look at their schedule, I mean, aside from their division, which is in recent memory one of the hardest divisions in football,
right?
You know, they open at Arizona. They have to go to Tampa Bay. They are at home against the Bills. They have to go to Cincinnati. I mean, it's a tough schedule.
That's a tough 4 first games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a win or a loss either way. I mean, I don't know how you would bet that.
Yeah, they could easily be 4-0, 0-4, 2-2. Right.
Exactly.
And the under is plus 100, so it's even money if you like that play. You know, they're without, Tyreek Hill. How are they going to replace him?
Well, that's the big thing. You know, Tyreek Hill, obviously their biggest playmaker that they had at that time, let him walk to Miami, which I think throughout the football world, I think that just shocked everybody when he left Kansas City. So, man, it's really tough. How do you replace that? How do you replace that value? How do you replace that? That the yards after catch with that.
Right, and the other thing is Tyreek Hill would stretch the defense, which would allow Travis Kelce to get those underneath passes. So it's going to be tough for him this season.
Well, absolutely. You know, Kelce obviously, he keeps going the way he is. Definitely a Hall of Fame tight end. But I mean, he can't be your only guy that you're going to rely on.
Right.
All right. We're going to talk a little Bears. Since we're a little local, we want to start off a little local.
You're killing me.
I know. But, there is a lot of people that, like I said, when the Rams left, you got to pick a team, right? You got to pick.
You know who owns the Bears, right?
Well, you're going to tell me.
Aaron Rodgers.
I should have known, man. You laid up a softball for me, and I whiffed. I mean, you got me. All right, you got me. What are we looking at with the Bears and man, Fields? I mean, what else they have?
What do you think?
Yeah,
Mike. I mean, Justin Fields. Obviously, you think it's too. You think it's too soon just to turn the reins over to Justin Fields and let it go?
Well, the thing with Justin Fields is, I was a Rams fan when they were in St. Louis, and they had Sam Bradford, and he was a great college quarterback, and he didn't have an offensive line, and he got gun shy. The thing with Justin Fields is he's more mobile than Sam Bradford was, so he can evade the pocket when he needs to. But looking at their schedule, I got them. Their over under is sitting at 6.5, and if you want to bet that, it's minus 190, so it's a little bit juiced towards the under. But I got them going 4-13. I just don't see.
I think you're pretty spot on with something like that.
What's the over under and wins on the Bears?
6.5.
6.5.
Right.
And you got the under.
I do.
And what's the price?
It's at minus 190, so it's a little juice towards the under, but I just don't see a way that they get above.
Well, I think their division is going to be definitely more improved. I think the Detroit Lions are definitely going to be better than they were last year. Minnesota, you never know who shows up at Minnesota, but Minnesota could come in and wipe them 2 games as well. So I mean, I definitely think that's a formidable bet.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. I know that on the kiosk, I believe you can move the line.
That's correct.
Right.
Yep.
So let's talk about that. A lot of people don't know. They see the price, 5.5, 4.5, minus 190. Explain that if somebody thinks what they can make their own. They can make their own line. Is that basically somewhere around there, something like that? They can move the line either way.
They can move the line for games. For the over-under for win totals, they can't move the line on that. But if you wanted to bet individual games, there are alternate spreads that you can do. You can parlay different alternate spreads. The old school is to do a teaser, but that's kind of a thing of the past now that you can select alternate spreads for different games and select which one that you want.
All right. Hey, Greg, All right. What is his Green Bay Packers it to win the division, and win the conference and win?
Well, what about Rodgers and MVP again?
Okay, well, I mean, I'm going to have to look that up because I don't know if he has it. But do you have it?
Wait a minute, that's not
have
off
Oh,
the top
that's
of your
right.
head?
What?
Come on, that's
No. I'll look it up. But what are they to win the Super Bowl? Right around plus 1,400.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's right where it's at. Plus 12, plus 1,400. I'm going to try to get Greg. To circle in there and make a little future bet.
Well, I got some stuff I want to talk about with that.
Right, well, let's do it.
Well, so here it is, Mike. For me, I'm as I told David earlier, I'm the sportsbook's best gambler because I bet with my heart. I don't bet. I don't look at the odds. I bet with yep, I want this guy to win. I want this team to win, and doesn't matter what the line is and stuff like that. I think for me and people like me, I think coming into a sports book sometimes is really overwhelming. They don't know how to bet. When you see plus this and minus this, they don't understand what that means. Do you guys have any sort of classes, or do you help people understand that, or how would they go about that?
So the best way to go about that is we have a brochure that explains all the betting terminology,
Okay.
and that's a good starter there. But all of our ticket writers, supervisors, they all are very knowledgeable with a wide variety of sports. We have guys that are big UFC and soccer fans. We have other guys that are NBA fans, football, baseball. So there's always a ticket writer there that has their own niche sport that they're interested in, and they could, more than happy to help anyone out.
Okay, so one of my favorite things to do is I love to go to different casinos, whether it be local or out of town. And for me, the sportsbook is a destination because I will come in at 7 a.m. or, let's say I go to Vegas. I'll go there, fly in, immediately go to the sportsbook. I'm there till the last game that night, watching everything, eating, betting, just hanging out with my friends, just doing that. Do you find that more and more people find this as a destination?
I believe so. This is going to be the first football season in our new space, and
It's beautiful, by the way.
as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, this is the premier destination to watch a game. I mean, you have Ballpark Village. I mean, as far as sportsbook goes around the area, I mean, there is no rival to the experience of our sportsbook.
I never thought, I'm in my 50s, right? So I never thought.
Only?
And I lived in Vegas. I'm going to go right by that. And I never thought in the St. Louis area that we would have a Vegas style sportsbook like the property here. This is an elite property that can rival any sportsbook. And not only that, we have it right here in the St. Louis area. I'm just amazed that, we talk about, you can even book your own parties. You can reserve. Mike, let's talk a little bit about how somebody can do that. How they can reserve a table. And
So wait a
how much
minute,
it costs.
I didn't even know that. So you can come in a sports book, reserve your own space.
Right. So on
Oh
our
my gosh.
website, you can book your reservations through Open Table, and for football season, you can book in groups of 4, and it's a $200 food and drink minimum for a 4-hour window, and you can reserve your spot in
It's
either
like 15 minutes.
right.
Sorry.
And you can, you could sit in our VIP section, you can sit in our lounge section, and you have a prime seat for our 60-foot video wall. I mean, who wouldn't want to?
Did you just hear that? 60-foot
Oh,
video
I already
wall.
was speaking over there.
In the
so.
St. Louis area. This is nuts to me. This
Well,
is here. It's
so
here. It's right here.
I
We're right here.
already texted 2 friends. I'm like, hey, we've got to make this happen. So
Yeah, and we're gonna make it happen right after we finish. One of these days, we're gonna hang out for the day, and yeah, I can't. And by the way, for somebody who eats here after every time I come here, I know you know this. The food is amazing.
Oh yeah, it's we've got a wide variety of different options for people to have for football season. It's all around. It's a great experience for customers.
All right, I do want to know. I look for value, right? And I know we talked about the Kansas City division. It's one of the toughest in football, but to me there's no value at 10-1. There's no value at Tampa Bay at 7-1. Rams at 10-1. I'm looking at value. My sleeper, even though it's the toughest division, is the Raiders. You get 40-1 to win the Super Bowl. I know there's other bets that you make, but I think that's going to be my play this year. Is they're gonna, as long as Waller stays healthy, right? I know you're laughing at me
I just threw up my mouth a little bit.
because we know why. Because they got your favorite receiver, right?
Who?
Yeah. Anyway, so 40-1 to me, even though I think there's 10, 11, 12 teams out of the AFC that can go to the Super Bowl. I don't think that in the NFC. I think we're talking about a handful of teams possibly, but I think 40-1 is a little bit of a value, even though with that division, if they can go on a run and those guys can stay healthy. What are your feelings about the Raiders this year?
I think the Raiders is a good pick. Derek Carr paired with Devontae Adams, and you got Hunter Renfrow. I mean, it's a good pick. You could go LA Chargers too.
Yeah.
That's Justin Herbert.
I think
They're 14-1. The Chargers are 14-1 to win it all, and the Raiders are 40-1. So I'm talking looking at value and matchups. The Chargers may be a better all-around team, but my theory is as long as Waller and Adams and Renfrow, man, they're healthy. They're gonna have to pick somebody to double.
I look at
They right. They're gonna have to pick somebody to double, and the other ones are gonna be a one-on-one.
I would go more lane with the Chargers. Again, I'm betting with my heart, not the money line.
No, I got you.
So, but you look at Justin Herbert. Not only that, they got Khalil Mack this year.
Yep.
They're Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on the defensive ends. I mean, come on, man. Who is going to stop those guys? That's going to be motors running constantly. I think they're going to be completely. They were a great team last year. I think they're going to be way improved this year.
What are your thoughts?
I agree. They lost a lot of close games last year. So you add those additions to the defense. Maybe Justin Herbert doesn't have to do as much as he had to last year. And, their record could be a lot different this year. That's the way I feel. Like they got some good weapons. I really like Justin Herbert.
Amazing.
Maybe sleeper MVP.
Very much so.
All right. One of the toughest divisions in football. You got the Rams, you got the Cardinals. We talked about Seattle earlier. Boy,
Niners.
Niners. It's gonna be a rough road for Seattle. And as of this morning, Geno Smith was announced the starting quarterback for Seattle.
Best line ever. I didn't even know Geno Smith was in the league.
That's what I said. I said I don't even know if he was still playing football, right? And now he's starting. I mean, hey, good for him, right?
Hey, Jameis Winston got another shot, so you never know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we don't have enough time to touch on that this week, but that division, who do you like in that division?
I think you got to go with the Rams. You still don't know what's going to go on with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
He's still, they're talking about trading him. Then you turn it over to Trey Lance. You don't know what you're going to get with that guy. He's a second-year player. So I feel like the Rams are pretty much the team in that division. I don't see much of a rival with anyone else.
I agree 100% with that. I'm still not convinced Kyler Murray is going to resurrect the Cardinals into a playoff contention team. So
yeah, when you're putting into the contract that you have to do some film study, that's a little cause for concern for your franchise quarterback.
Hey, I want to talk. Can we talk about the Buffalo Bills? That's my pick. AFC Super Bowl right there. Man, Josh Allen, unbelievable, and just even in the preseason when he played, just didn't stop where he left last year. Much improved team as well. I think they're a lock for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to like with Buffalo. Josh Allen is probably one of the MVP favorites. You got Stephon Diggs, and they got a good defense. I really like the Bills too. I try to stay away from the favorite in with Super Bowl odds because it tends to not be the case. Yeah. But I mean, it's hard not to like the Bills.
Yeah, they're a complete team in my estimation. What do you think about the Bengals? Do you think that was a fluke last year, or do you think that they're going to continue where they are? I don't see them in a Super Bowl this year.
I think they shored up the offensive line to protect Joe Burrow a little bit more. So I think that they will. I think they could improve this year. I really like. I like the Bengals too.
Oh, definitely up and coming. Definitely for sure. So what about the Cleveland Browns? Here's my pick: Garoppolo to the Browns in Week 3.
I would agree with that. Yeah,
I think that's going to happen. Jacoby Brissett being your quarterback, just don't think he's going to pan out to where to me, the Browns are not built for a quarterback that's going to scramble. So they're going to want somebody who's going to be more of a pocket pass. Baker the other day and says Baker Mayfield like so many minutes.
With Carolina, it's just Christian McCaffrey. What are you going to get out of him? How are you going to play? I mean, I made the mistake.
6, 7.
Yeah, I made the mistake last year. I drafted McCaffrey #1 overall in my fantasy league. That didn't work out too well.
Well, if he's healthy, man, he's definitely worthy of that #1 in the fantasy, no doubt about it. But there again, he just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I like Baker Mayfield. Sometimes he goes a little, overextends himself when he's injured, like last year. He probably should have sat on the bench, but he was trying to play through injury, and I think, sometimes he gets a little bit misunderstood with the way he carries himself. But I think all he cares about is winning, and he wants to be out there for his team. And I think sometimes he's a little bit over demonstrative with the way he carries himself, and sometimes that rubs people the wrong way.
But don't you think that should be the coaching staff saying, "Hey, guess what? You're sitting."
I think so.
Ultimately, that's going to be that. Let me throw that. We're talking to the Chicago Bears earlier. What about Mitch Trubisky possibly being the starter?
I don't really have much confidence in Trubisky.
Hey,
I don't think anybody does.
No.
Hey,
But
Mike.
who's your options? You know what I
Okay.
mean? You're gonna throw Kenny Pickett in there. So
Yeah, it's tough. The Steelers, they're known for their defense, so maybe they'll just have to rely on their defense and Najee Harris running the ball.
Hey, Mike, we're going to wrap things up with you. I appreciate you taking the time coming on, spending with us. I hope you want to come back and join us again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe next week if you feel like it. I know you're going to be slammed next week. This is week 0. Next week, the floodgates open, right?
Oh yeah, we can't wait.
Hey, Mike Hasty, sportsbook manager here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. Thanks for coming on.
hey,
Thanks for
Mike,
having
real
me.
quick, give it out again for people that want to reserve a table, VIP table. Where do they go? How can they do that? Real quick again.
So that's DraftKings at CasinoQueen.com. That has all our information that you can reserve tables and look at odds and view our menu and everything.
All right, fantastic. Thanks,
All right,
Mike.
thanks again. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, Mike Whistler, our golf expert, is standing by. Welcome back to the Winning Ticket, everyone. My name's David Sharp, here with my friend Greg Damon. Greg, man, that was a lot of fun.
That was definitely a lot of fun. I really wanted him to talk more about this being a destination. I mean, it is really a destination. Come out, hang out, sit in some comfortable chairs, have your own table, eat great food, and watch sports all day. I mean, what if you don't have your own man cave? Why are you not here?
Yeah, no, I tell you what, $200. Come eat.
That's four
drink.
people. $50 a piece.
Well, that's the drink. That's the minimum.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, you're going to spend that. I mean,
exactly.
you have to experience this place. The first time I came in here and looked at this, I felt like I was in Vegas. And obviously I'm assuming that was the goal when they built this place, is to make you feel like you're at a destination. You feel like you're out of town.
Exactly.
Right? You're on vacation, you're watching some games, making a few bets. I mean, this place is absolutely incredible. I really hope people get a chance to come down here and experience it for themselves. The staff here is super nice, super helpful. We are waiting for our golf expert, Mike Whistler, to log back on. Hopefully we can get him to come back on. But
well, that's what we were talking with Mike and about being here and betting. I do think that's overwhelming for a lot of folks, that they really don't understand how to bet. Obviously, this is why we have the show. To walk into some place not really understanding what the bets are, how it goes about, as you always say, what's the best value to bet, or as I said, I bet with my heart. So, to come in and have some fun, win a little money, that's the thing to do. Eat great food, hang out with your friends. I mean, as I said, I've already texted several friends about it.
yeah, well, there's so many different types of bets, and that's what one of the reasons why I started this show is to help people learn how to, right? So it's not only picking which team, but Now they have so many more different kinds of bets. I mean, you can player props. You can bet on individual players for a season, for a game. There's parlays, there's flat bets, there's you got your money line, you got your
Sure.
spread. I mean, we could just go on and on about how many.
But you're average Joe gambler.
I am
I'm
average Joe gambler.
a fringe player. My wife thinks she is. Thinks she's a handicapper.
Your wife is a handicapper.
She thinks she is.
She is
when it comes to the ponies. But what I'm saying is, for the fringe gambler, that's what you want. You want them to come down. You want them to have fun, learn about how to do it, maybe win a little money, but just hang out, have fun. And this is just definitely a destination you want to do that at.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed. Once again, we are trying to get our golf expert Mike Whistler back online, but in the interim, this place is starting to see a little traffic come in for week 0 for a little college football. We got NFL right around the corner. I
want to talk a little high school football?
Let's do it. Let's see if until we get Mike get Mike on. Let's talk a little high school.
So
football.
high school football started off. Friday Night Lights started off last night. Obviously, I do stuff with St. Dominic as well. So St. Dominic opened up against St. Charles West High School and won. But all throughout, I think the big game that most people didn't realize last night was Vashon beating St. Louis U.
Oh wow!
Beating Kirkwood.
Okay.
And Kirkwood was up, and Vashon came back and won. I thought that was a big one. I thought Kirkwood definitely was the favorite for that.
I don't know anything about high school football.
I know you're looking at me like with deer in the headlights.
Yeah, because I don't know anything. You're the guy.
So
you are a high school coach.
So how about no? I'm not a high school coach. I'm a junior.
Okay,
junior.
All right. Well, that's
coach.
Okay, right?
No, I can't hang with those guys. Let's talk about CBC. How about CBC going to Canton, Ohio, facing a team out of Georgia, and playing there on the field at Canton, Ohio, and just dominating that. CBC is the number 1 ranked school here in the St. Louis area this year in their division to win the state championship. Always a great program. You look at the top schools, CBC, DeSmet, Chaminade. For the private schools, there's all sorts of stuff. CBC's got a big matchup coming up. I believe it's next week against East St. Louis. That's going to be really, really tough. East St. Louis beat them. Their only loss last year. So we'll see what happens. Luther Burton's gone. Luther Burton at Mizzou now. So,
we're talking a little bit of high school football. How about a little Billikens?
Okay, I'm all over it.
Yeah,
they don't play football though.
No, I do know that, but it is a little early. We got anything on news front on the Billikens?
Well, let's talk about the transfer portal.
Yeah.
It worked out in the Billikens' favor to where Yuri Collins is staying with the team. And that's a huge help. I think the Billikens are going to have probably one of their best teams they've ever had this year coming up. For men's basketball, anyway, is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
I think they're going to definitely make the tournament. I think that they will probably go past the first and possibly the second round. And I think they're going to turn some heads. They got a really great team, really fast team. Obviously, Travis Ford, great coach, has got them guys rocking and rolling. They've already been playing tournaments already and done pretty well.
Yeah, I am looking for. You ever been to a Billikens game?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a bunch of fun.
Well, yeah, it's a bunch of fun.
Yeah, it's a bunch of fun. What about the rankings with them this year? Where are we at? Do you know if they're? It's too early.
It's too early,
right?
It's too early.
It's way too early.
They're the number 1 men's college team in St. Louis.
Well, I mean, yeah. What do we have in St. Louis that would compare? Nothing, right?
Well, not for a.
I mean, not for
a Division 1 school.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So.
What about Mizzou basketball?
New coach. You hope. Mizzou was a powerhouse at one time.
Right?
I mean, Mizzou was a powerhouse, and they have just really went downhill. You thought many guys would turn that program around. Couldn't really do it. It also depends on recruiting. You got to make it attractive for the kids to come there, right? I don't know. New coach, he seems to be up on it. He seems to be up on the wheel. Definitely wants to to get his players rocking and rolling. So I think we'll see what happens.
Hey, Russell, Mike on with us? Is Mike ready to go? We're going to have to give this another shot another time. Sorry about it, man. Connection's bad. All right. As Mike Whistler, our golf expert. Sorry we couldn't get a good connection with him. But, Greg, let me tell you a little bit about Mike. Mike has given out several winners this year. And when we were talking about these humongous fields in golf, when I first, I never really was interested in betting golf until I found out how good Mike was. And once he started releasing his picks, now he just doesn't pick one golfer and that's it, right? He'll hand me, 3 or 4, and we're talking some are anywhere from 9 to 1. You're going to get a good price even on the favorite. Like you're going to get at least 8, 9 to 1 on the best golfer in the world in any big tournament.
Okay.
But I remember one of the last ones he gave me was 150 to 1 and finished third and had the lead with like 2 holes to go. I mean, Mike does his homework. He's probably one of the best gamblers that I've ever encountered, and I've been around a long time. And I'm sorry that we couldn't get the feed on.
So what kind of bets are there in golf? Are they much like regular, football, or is it like horse racing? What kind of bets are there?
So
it's such an individual sport. So.
Right. So what you can do is you can bet the golfer to win,
okay.
Right? That's where you're going to get your best odds. And then you can go top 5,
okay.
Right? And you can do top 10, but the odds go down. So let's say you start out at 20 to 1 to win. If you're going to be in top 5, you may go down to 8 to 1. And if you went in top 10, it could be 2 or 3 to 1.
Okay.
So you can do that. You can also do matchups. You can bet matches with any golfers. Mike, mainly from what I understand, bets golfers to win. He bets, sometimes 1, anywhere up to 4 golfers to win a tournament, depending on who he likes. He gave me 3 golfers last week. I chose not to play. That was my mistake because it was a big score for him, and I'm really happy. Mike has been very profitable this year betting golf, and he's one of the few gamblers that I know that has shown huge ROI when it comes to that.
I don't know how you do it. See, I can't do that. I can't let go of the money. I can't.
Well, it's not that. It's an investment to him, right? He does his homework just like anything else. It's an investment to him. We are now ready for the gift of Clemson John. I am ready to turn this over. I had a chance 2 days ago, as I talked about earlier, to spend a half hour with Clemson John. He went over all week 0 games, all 11 games, handicapped them, analyzed them. I'm ready for you all to experience my friend, Clemson John.
It is an experience.
Please, Russell, hit it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Death Valley, South Carolina.
And Clemson is declared king of college football and national champs.
College analyst Clemson John.
Hey, David Sharf here. I'm here with my man, Clemson John. John, we're getting ready for college football in a couple days. What is going on?
Yeah, excited, man. Just like a kid on Christmas Eve. Just it's almost here, ready for a little week 0 action. Looks like we have 12 games, or 11. I'm sorry, 11 games ready to go. So, yeah, they're smaller schools. No top 25 matchups here, but it is week 0, and we've got some action this Saturday, and that's the main thing.
That's what I'm talking about, getting in action and making a few wagers. Before we get to there, let's talk a little preseason football. Your thoughts, and did you have a little action during the preseason? What's going on?
No, not much at all. I just, that Hall of Fame game, the first one that starts every preseason is usually always an under. It's an ugly, 9-7, 14-6 type of game all the time. And they actually set that over under at like 31, which is absurdly low for any football game. Yeah, and it went against popular opinion because it did go over, and it went over pretty easily too, with a lot of time left in the game.
Right.
And most of the games, the first week or so, they did go over. It was 11 overs and 3 unders for the first 14 games. So that was at a crazy over rate. And now it's kind of the last week or so in the NFL, it's kind of trickled back to where you're seeing some unders that should go under and, kind of evening out. So not many spots there to take advantage of, but we do got some week 0 action for sure here on the first 11 games.
Well, I tell you what, right after we finish this interview, I'm headed to watch one of my favorite shows, Hard Knocks. And I know you like it, and I know you got a little story about the first one.
Oh, yeah, the first one that I don't know if anybody remembers, but this is back when Baltimore, the Ravens had that defense with Ray Lewis and the rest of those monsters up front. Tony Saragusa was on that team, I believe. The big nose tackle, just great defense they had. They beat the Giants in the Super Bowl, but that Shannon Sharp was on that. He was a tight end on that team.
Yep.
So that was one of the most entertaining Hard Knocks I've ever seen. I think it was the first one they ever did. And I watched them after that, but man, it's hard to top that first one with the Ravens. That was just an incredible personalities on that one. And between Ray Lewis and Shannon Sharp, I mean, it was just a great Hard Knocks. But
yeah, well, I tell you, I don't know if Detroit's going to do anything this year, but you want to talk about a coach that's pumped up. Yeah, man. So far, the first couple episodes have been, I think, fantastic, and I'm looking forward to watching the third one as soon as we get done here tonight. But as we head into this weekend, somebody I know can't join us live. That's why we're doing this recorded, because he's going to be somewhere in Alaska on a boat, on a ship or something. What's going on with that?
Yeah, I'm getting on a Royal Caribbean cruise. I'm going to be gone for 7 days, but we'll be ready to roll for next weekend. I'll be back in action for sure.
Now, are you going to get back before the games next week?
Oh yeah, I'll be getting back right before them, so we'll be good to go Labor Day. And my Tigers kick off their first game against Georgia Tech in Atlanta as 21-point favorites right now, Monday night. So that's the only game on in the country Monday night. So it's a Labor Day special with the Clemson Tigers taking on the Georgia Tech Ramblin' Wreck Yellow Jackets. So that'll be Labor Day night.
I can't wait for you to have a great time and enjoy your cruise, but I can't wait to have you back live with us at DraftKings Casino Queen. Man, we're having a blast here. And let's get into this weekend. We're going to handicap. We're going to go through all these games. You're going to give us our picks, and let's break it down. So let's get rolling.
Yeah, like I said, we got 11 games, and it's spread out throughout the day. First games are 11 a.m. is that first game, Austin P in Western Kentucky. It's just one of those things where, Western Kentucky's taking on an FCS school. That's the football championship subdivision. So that division is the lower schools that have that 16-team playoff at the end of the year, like Missouri State's in that one. All the smaller schools are from the FCS. But, yeah, Western Kentucky's going to take care of business there. There isn't a line on that one that I see, but I see Western Kentucky winning this by, 4 touchdowns at least. Austin P just doesn't have the manpower. Mostly they ain't got the dogs up front. That's the big thing. They got the offensive line and the defensive line to match up with a FBS team like Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky's coming off of a 9-4 year. They got an offense. They're going to put points on the board. They like to speed up the pace and play fast as they can. So they're going to put up some points and win this by 4 touchdowns.
I like it. What's up next?
Well, the next game's 11:30, and this is even though that Austin Peay Western Kentucky game is televised on CBS Sports. The next game is where a lot of people are going to be watching is a Big Ten matchup with Nebraska and Northwestern.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know who's going to win this game. These are 2 average to below average teams. Nebraska just can't find their footing year after year. They brought Scott Frost in from UCF, who Scott Frost had a ton of success at UCF at Central Florida, but he just, he can't. The old Nebraska quarterback can't find his footing as a coach so far in Lincoln. So, I don't know who's going to win this game, but I know these are 2 sloppy teams, and it's at Northwestern. And for whatever reason, any game at Northwestern, it seems like they grow that grass like 3 inches tall or something. I mean, it's 3 inches taller than it should be. I mean, they like to slow the game down, and they like to play every game in snow if they could. So I'm definitely going to be leaning on the under on the Nebraska Northwestern game for sure. This is just going to be a rock fight, as they say. The line is 49.5. It opened, listen to this, it opened at 52.5.
Wow.
It's gone down 3 points from where it opened. So everybody's pounding that under. And there's no reason an under of 50 shouldn't be pounded between these 2 schools. Adrian Martinez is back at quarterback for Nebraska. He's been there a very long time. So he's going to be back again. It seems like he's a 7th-year senior, if there was such a thing. But Adrian Martinez is going to be back again at quarterback. He's also their leading rusher.
What?
Is Adrian Martinez, their quarterback. So he ran for 525 yards last year. Their other running back that's coming back only has 495 yards. So they're just going to be in bad shape. I don't see Nebraska turning this program around where they're going to win 9 or 10 games. I don't see it happen. I don't think they got the talent. Although Nebraska has the coolest NIL deal in all of America. The coldest. I don't know have you heard of the coldest, David?
I have not.
So he's I think wide receiver. Dakotas Crawford for Nebraska is that's his name, and D Coldest, D-E Coldest is his name, and he had a local heat and air company write up an NIL deal for him. So D Coldest is on the coldest air conditioning company in Lincoln, Nebraska.
That's fantastic.
So how good does that get?
Oh
the
my
God. Crawford.
I mean, who knew, right?
It's the absolute best NIL deal across America.
That is absolutely fantastic. Before we go on to the next game, I want to talk about a little bit about Nebraska glory days, man. When I was in college, and that was a long time ago, 30 years ago. I mean, but seriously, 30 years ago, man, Nebraska was it. And, they were, they were what Alabama is today, right? I mean, they could recruit. Please tell me over the last how many years it's been since they've been in that scene. What happened and where'd they go?
Well, the same thing's happened to them that's happened to Notre Dame.
Right.
Although between Notre Dame and Nebraska, there's different academic standards that can cause problems. But the same thing has happened to them. That's happened to a lot of teams outside of the Southeast. It is hard to recruit outside of the Southeast than it is if you're in anywhere from Mississippi up to North Carolina. That's where a lot of the talent is. If you go look at the top 300 high school football recruits in the country, most of them are going to be in that corridor from Texas all the way up to, North Carolina, Virginia, maybe. That's just where the talent's at right now, more concentrated in that area than it ever has been. So if you're in Nebraska, it's hard to go to South Florida and get those speedsters and say, hey, come to Lincoln, Nebraska, right. Especially when their program has been on the downtrodden for the past 20 years, really. So you're right, though. In the 90s, they were a great program. They won back-to-back national championships with Tommy Frazier at quarterback. They had a great decade in the 80s. They're a great historic program, but it's hard to go to the southeast part of the country and get those recruits to come to Nebraska. And let's face it, there's not much high school skill position like wide receiver talent or quarterback talent in Nebraska or any other state that borders Nebraska. So you can dominate the state of Nebraska in recruiting all you want. It's just not going to be enough, though. So that's their biggest obstacle until they're able to recruit at a higher pace and get those speedsters. Then it's just going to be trouble. The only team that's really doing that at a consistent pace is Ohio State.
So there's many teams that fans travel well. And I mean, I've never seen anything like the traveling fan base of Nebraska when I was in college. And I'm sure it's not the same. I'm sure it's fallen off because they're not as good. But is the Nebraska fan base still travel well? Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's still a rabid fan base. They're as good as anybody in the country. And everything is there to take that program to the next level. But it's going to take a coach that can recruit. And I don't know if Scott Frost has that recruiting bone in his body where like Dabo came in at Clemson in 2008, and he was a recruiter. He was a recruiting coordinator, wide receiver coach. That's kind of what his bread and butter was. When he sat down with mom and dad at the kitchen table, when they got done, they knew that their kid was going to be taken care of for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Right.
And that's what it's going to take, is a coach that is going to be able to get those kids and convince them that they're building something special at Nebraska. It can be done. I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just going to take that coach, and I don't think it's going to be Scott Frost.
Well, I just remember, many years ago, man, they were it. And, I was kind of curious what happened. Obviously you're the college football expert, and I'm glad you filled me in on that, because they just disappeared over. It was a slow disappearance, right? And I don't mean disappear like off the planet, but they're not your top tier team anymore. And I was just curious. It was a slow progression of kind of fading out of the top tier. UConn, what about this game? What are you thinking?
The old Huskies of UConn, they might be the worst team in all of the FBS. They are awful, and they're going to be awful again this year. So Utah State is a very interesting team. This is a nice line too. It's moved anywhere from 27.5 to 28 to 27 to 28, basically.
Okay.
Anywhere in between there. But Utah State is a very strong team with a program that's moving in the right direction. They had a first-year coach last year in Blake Anderson. So Blake Anderson's story is pretty interesting. So last year, Utah State went 11-3. It was his. This is going to be his second year at Utah State. So that was his first year. They go 11-3 and they win a bowl game. Big time accomplishment for that program. They were 6-2 in conference, but just to let you know, of course, I'm going to take Utah State minus 27.5 or wherever that lands. I'd take them up to 34 probably. I don't see UConn getting more than 10 points this game. I'd be surprised if they get 14, but I don't see them getting more than 10. Field goal and a late touchdown, I would put it at. But Utah State's coach, Blake Anderson, was at Arkansas State before he got the job. He was there for several years, and he was terrific at Arkansas State. He won 2 Sun Belt championships, got another division title, got to 6, I believe, 6 bowl games, won 50-something games in 7 seasons, I believe. But in 2019, at the end of 2019, he tragically lost his wife to cancer, actually. And in the 2020 season, of course, we all had to deal with COVID, if you remember, in the beginning of 2020. So we didn't know what the athletic landscape was going to look like or anything. But the first football game, I think it was the first football game that we got to see was Arkansas State versus another smaller Arkansas. I think it was Central Arkansas. So it was Arkansas State versus another smaller school, like a Central Arkansas, I think. That was the first football game since COVID. And they covered Blake Anderson's story quite a bit. So Yeah, he lost his wife to cancer. And after his first losing campaign in 2020 at Arkansas State during the COVID year, which the COVID year is always going to have that asterisk on it, just because it was so many extenuating circumstances. But after his first losing campaign at Arkansas State, he got the promotion and the job at Utah State, and 11-3 in his first year. That's quite an accomplishment. And he stepped in, and this program's going in the right direction for sure.
Local crowd looking at Illinois, Wyoming. What do you like? It's Illinois -11.
Yeah, Illinois -11 against anybody is a big line. I think Brett Bielema may have this program moving in the right direction. Anytime I see Illinois and a double-digit favorite beside it, it makes me nervous. So I'm going to lean slight, taking the points here. I'd take it all the way up to 10. It's probably going to stay around where it's at. I just think there's a lot of hype around it right now because they've seen Illinois get a big win against Penn State, I think, last year in a 7 overtime game. Weird game that finished like 16-23 or something. 7 overtimes, and it finishes like 16 or 19-23 or something. Just a strange game. But leave it to Brett Bielema and Illinois to not score that many points in 7 overtimes. That doesn't doubt me. And that's another reason I can't take Illinois to beat anybody by more than 10 points.
John, I wanted to talk about that, but they're -11, but the over-under is only 43.5. So
I know.
So the line makers are saying Wyoming's not going to score. Basically, if they do, not much, right? So it's hard to take a team. I'm not going to take -11 and the under.
Right. That's a tough line. Saying that Illinois is going to have one of the greatest defenses in the country, and I highly doubt that. But it's not really a slack. I think they're going to slow the game down too. Both teams are going to slow this game down. It's going to be 3 yards and a cloud of dust like it used to be in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s with a lot of those old school coaches and the triple option. But I just think that Illinois, given that many points, I can't take them laying that many points.
All right, we have Florida State. I can't find a line on this game yet. I know we're
it's just one of those FCS games.
Yeah.
So it's Florida State versus one of those small schools like a Duquesne. So although this Florida State program, they should just get it over with and hire Deion Sanders if he wants the job. Because Deion Sanders is sitting in the middle of Mississippi right now. He seems pretty happy. He's got like a huge social media following right now. He actually stole the #1 recruit in the entire country from Florida State. And I believe his name was Travis Hunter. He's a defensive back, which Deion was a defensive back as well, one of the best to ever play the game.
Right.
But it was a done deal. The kid was going to Florida State. Signing day, all of a sudden he puts on a Jackson State hat out of nowhere. So Deion's making some noise.
Yeah, for sure.
It was funny that somebody asked him recently about playing Alabama or something. And he said, whoa, ain't nobody talking about playing Alabama. Yeah, not this year. You got to give me at least 1 year. We can't compete up front. We need some big guys on the lines. Let me get some big guys on the lines and we can talk about playing Alabama.
Let me tell you something. He keeps doing what he's doing. He might get them.
Yeah. I just think if he wants that Florida State job, which I would assume he does, at the right time. If they got to wait till the end of this, I just don't think Mike Norvell is the answer. I hadn't liked Mike Norvell since he chickened out of the Clemson Florida State game during the COVID year. We fly all the way down there the day of the game, 3 to 4 hours before it starts. He's like, "Oh, well, you guys had a positive test on Monday, and even though the guy was sent home and didn't travel with you, due to safety concerns, we're not going to play this game." Right before the game was going to start. Well, the real reason was his starting quarterback was out. He was going to have to put a wide receiver in at quarterback. And that 2020 Clemson team, rather, was going to beat the heck out of that Florida State team. It was going to be 50-0 at halftime. He'd seen the beating coming, and he pulled the COVID card. That's what happened to Mike Norvell.
Wow.
But I don't think he's going to last at Florida State. But Florida State should handle business against Duquesne, beat them by 2 or 3 touchdowns, maybe. Although they did lose to an FCS team last year in Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State upset them on the last play of the game. But I don't see that happening with Duquesne. Jacksonville State had a little more talent than the Duquesne does. So, we're going to say Florida State will win by 2-3 touchdowns.
All right, let's go on to the next one. What do you got?
Yeah, we got the 49ers of Charlotte against the Owls of FAU. So Florida Atlantic and Charlotte. A lot of points are going to be in this game. A lot of points. Charlotte likes to run 1 million plays a game. FAU does too. So it looks like this line opened at 57.5, and it's currently 58.5. So that tells you something there. Everybody's taking the over. I would take this up to 61, 62. Anywhere around there, feel comfortable. It's probably going to close at 59.5, I would assume. I'd say it's going to go up another point because there's going to be a lot of movement with this being the first week. Everybody's been waiting on Christmas, like the kid on Christmas Eve, for this to start. So there's going to be a lot of action coming in. So I think it's going to move to 59.5 or so. Wouldn't be surprised to see it close at 60. There's just going to be a lot of points because Charlotte loves to run as many plays as they can, and so does FAU. It opened at 5.5 for FAU as a favorite. It's at currently -7.
Right.
I could see Charlotte winning this game. I wouldn't be surprised if FAU wins. I wouldn't touch the line. I'd just take that total because it's the safest play because there's going to be a ton of points. But the 49ers are going to be – the Charlotte 49ers are going to be an interesting team this year. They got a very young coach, and I like young coaches because they're more – in this day and age, they're more relatable. They're better recruiters. And he's getting some talent in there at Charlotte, especially on the offensive side of the ball. That's why they're scoring a lot of points, and they love to run a lot of plays because they do have some talent on the offensive side of the ball. Just no defense at all. If they win a game, Charlotte beats you 45-42. They're not going to beat you the way Illinois does, 16-13. Not going to happen.
A little more exciting to watch.
Yeah, it's not going to be 7 overtimes, 16-23. If Charlotte and FAU went 7 overtimes, they might reach 100.
A little later in the evening, University of North Carolina. That's at 7:15. What do you got?
Yeah, North Carolina, Florida A&M. Again, it's a ACC school going against a FCS school, the smaller teams. So the Florida A&M's just not going to be able to hold up with North Carolina. Obviously, I don't find a line on it, but I see North Carolina winning by 5-6 touchdowns. It's going to be one of those 52-10 games or something like that. So North Carolina's going to take care of business there, no problem. Not much excitement there.
All right, we got a couple more to cover. What do we got up next?
Yeah, North Texas and UTEP. So this is a very interesting line because I would have thought North Texas going on the road is what it is. It opened at North Texas -2, currently at -1. I just think everybody's leaning towards the home team and what they think is a even matchup. I don't think it's as even as the public or the odds makers think it is. I think North Texas is going to win this game by 2 possessions, 10 or 14 points. I don't think UTEP's going to be able to keep up with North Texas. I'd see North Texas winning this game somewhere around 28-17 or something. So I don't think UTEP's keeping up. Over-under's at 54.5 now, open at 55.5. So, you can lean on the under just because I don't think UTEP's going to score that many points. I'm just afraid that North Texas can get 40, 41, 42, somewhere around there. That's what I'm afraid of. But I'd lean under if you're going to take the total on this one. And I'd expect North Texas to keep moving in the right direction like they did last year and get to another bowl game.
All right. Nevada. And what else we got?
One of my favorite. Yeah. New Mexico State, Nevada. One of my favorite games of the week, probably. I love this one. It opened, believe it or not, this opened at -14.5 for Nevada, of course. And it's currently -8.5.
That's a huge move.
Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. Nevada's going to beat them by at least 14. New Mexico State is just, they're not going to be able to score any points. They're kind of like UConn is. I just don't see New Mexico State keeping up with them. I don't know why this line has moved to 8.5. Yeah, I have no idea. It just doesn't make any sense. There's no injuries that would have made this move to 8.5 that matters. I think everybody's just taking the points in the home team and what they think is going to be a closer game, but it's not. People in Nevada's going to handle business here. And I don't care if they're going on the road or they're going to Alaska with me. I don't care where they're going. Nevada can't keep up. They can play on the snowbanks and the glaciers of Alaska, and it wouldn't matter.
Hey, I got a buddy of mine on a cruise right now in Alaska. He's about a week and a half ahead of you. And I saw him on with that coat and the hat and the beanie hat, and I was like, man, I bet it's beautiful, but it's cold in August there, man.
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
Are you prepared? Are you prepared to bring your down coat and your hat? Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I got me some warm stuff packed, but it only takes a man like me about 30 minutes to pack. So we've got this under control as always.
Well, I'm sure you'll find your way in action while you're on that riverboat cruise that you're going on. So we have another game. We still have Vanderbilt.
Yeah, let's see
right?
where we're at here. The last one is everybody's favorite game of the week every week. Do you know why?
It's a get it even game.
It's the get even game, baby. Let's go. This is a 9:30 start, which is early for Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's usually our midnight game, right?
Oh man, it doesn't matter. If you're stuck, man, this is the best game in the world. If you're winner, it's the best game in the world. Right? I mean, it doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
I'll sleep good. I'll fall asleep by halftime knowing I got a ticket in action, baby. I'll sleep good knowing I got action. So give me a winner. What do we got?
Yeah, we got the Commodores going down to Hawaii, to the formerly what I will always know them as, and what I watched them as a kid as, the Rainbow Warriors, but now they're the Warriors. They dropped the rainbow. So it's interesting. I don't know if anybody knows this, but the reason they were called the Rainbow Warriors is because I think this goes back to the 30s and 40s or something. But they were big dogs in this game at Hawaii, and rainbows would come across the field. It rained, and all these rainbows would come across.
Really?
Yeah. And then they said the rainbows are lucky. So in essence, now we're the Rainbow Warriors, which I like better. I like tradition, man. Keep your rainbows. Don't let people talk you out of your rainbows.
Yeah.
Be rainbow proud,
Not only that, I want the pot of gold, baby, at the end of the rainbow. You know what I'm saying? This is the get even game or the get even better game. So or it's the get even worse game, however you want to look at it.
We've all been there, unfortunately.
Yeah. But how exciting, man. I'm excited for you to take a little vacation. I am surprised that you are going to be out of town on the first week of college football, but we got to wrap this up so you can get on an airplane and we can get back to our show. Thank you so much, John, for taking the time, and we'll see you next week.
Yep, jump all over that Hawaii +8, I think it is, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's the line. It's let's see here. I think it's right now. Let me see if there's been any movement on it. No, I think it's still +8. So jump all over Hawaii +8. The Commodores are as bad as the Commodores were last year. They were 2-10. So you've got a 2-10 team that's bringing a terrible quarterback back. Listen to this. How does Hawaii not cover this game? The quarterback for Vanderbilt, he's coming back. But the bad news is he's coming back. That's the bad news. He had 8 interceptions and 5 touchdowns last week. Or I'm sorry, last year, obviously. Yeah, last year he had 8 interceptions, 5 touchdowns, and they're bringing him back.
So
I mean, it's going to be bad for Vandy. Take the 8 points.
I love
Take
it.
Hawaii.
I love it. We're just starting to see, and you're just starting to see my man Clemson John get fired up. Wait till next week. Man, thanks so much. I want you to have a great time. Appreciate you spending the time with us. We'll see you next week.
Hey, till next time, guys, and go Tigers.
Right on. Go Tigers. Take care. All right, everybody. That was Clemson John. I hope you enjoyed his picks. We're going to wrap things up. I'd sure like to thank my co-host Greg Damon today. Also, Mike Whistler. We tried with him. Hopefully next week we can get a better connection, and we'll talk a little golf next week. Clemson John, as always, he's fantastic. Love his analysis and what he does. He'll be with us next week, back from his cruise in Alaska. Also, special thanks to Russell Sides for producing today, coming in and helping us out. Certainly appreciate it. If you want any information on what's going on here at DraftKings at Casino Queen, just go to DraftKings at CasinoQueen.com. All the information on the website to reach us on air at thewinningticket.com. Until next week, my name's David Sharp. Thanks for listening.